WEFM 99.9.
And it's 10:42 here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and across the Eastern Caribbean. Welcome to the Shakeup program. Today's scripture reading is taken from Psalm 1 and verse 1 and verses 1 and 2. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. Of course, the Shakeup program is a political interactive program, and today's program is being hosted by Augustine Ferdinand. Remember the numbers to call. It's 457-9997. That's our on-air number. Our digital number is 532-997. And of course, our WhatsApp contact is 457-9994. Good morning to you, Mr. Ferdinand. I trust you had a wonderful weekend, a long weekend enough.
Yes, good morning to you, Narissa. Good morning to all listeners, those in the diaspora and in local St. Vincent and Grenadines. As usual, it's an interactive program. The numbers to call and get interactive with us are 784-457-9997. That's 784-457-9997. And you can call or reach us via the WhatsApp number 784-457-9994. That's 784-457-9994. Well, yes, it was a very long weekend. But first of all, I want to congratulate all those students who basically participated in their studies in Taiwan, who have successfully completed their degree program. I really and truly congratulate them. And it continues to show the strong standing relationship between the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the government and people of Taiwan, that it's bearing fruit. Of course, we've had persons going over to study in Taiwanese scholarship since the early term of this government's administration, and we see hundreds of Vincentians receiving that opportunity so far in pursuing studies there in different disciplines or areas of study and focus, from engineering to journalism to medicine. And I know one that stands out to me is Nikita Tony. I've known Nikita when I attended the boys' grammar school, and one of the things I want to read it here. She's a valedictorian. It says Nikki is the valedictorian. Of course, on the 27th of this month, Nikita Kazani Tony had the distinction of presenting the valedictorian speech for the Yangtze University's College of Humanities and Social Sciences, hosted by the Global Affairs Office for International Students. Nikki received her Bachelor of Strategic Communication. During her speech, she noted that 5 years ago in St. Vincent and Grenadines, while she was employed as a news reporter, she had not visualized herself being in the position that she is in today. Nikki's journey has indeed been one of unstinting bravery, determination, discipline, and resilience. In addition to this, she served the Vincentian community selflessly in and beyond her role as Vincentians in Taiwan Association and as Vitas Communications Officer. And I too am very proud of Nikki. She indeed came a very, very long way, a daughter of the poor and the working class, of the education revolution. And here she is receiving a bachelor's in strategic communication and a valedictorian. And again, like I said, it continues to show that the long-standing relations between the government and people of St. Vincent and Grenadines and that of the people and government of Taiwan is bearing fruit. There's another one, Darren, who I know, went to grammar school with me. He is from constituency of South Windward, Darren Rodan. Received his master's in information management, and he too again a son of the education revolution. And basically his thesis focused on factors influencing adoption and use of electronic document and record management system in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So again, I congratulate all those who were successful in their program, in their disciplines in Taiwan, and I know that there are more to come. Well, of course, we know that there is more to come once the Unity Labour Party remains in office, because this is the government that is committed to the continued strengthening of the long-standing relations of the government and people of St. Vincent and Grenadines and Taiwan. And if we want to see this sort of thing continue, there is no choice but to return and to continue to support the Unity Labour Party. But, yes, it's been a long weekend, weekend of various activities, and there are some those listening. I know last night, in particular, not too far from here, you had a big event on Kittels Beach, or what is dubbed as Miami Beach. Yes, I was driving on my way from Leeward. I went to Richmond, and I took the route coming through Cleverly, coming over Kittels, and had traffic. So yeah, that big massive event there. I know there were some other rural events. You had Jump Up, I think, in Central Leeward as well. And yesterday, you of course had Fisherman's Day. And congratulations to all those who participated. Of course, you had the ceremony and speeches made by the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, and the main speaker, Prime Minister Dr. Alfie Gonzalez. Of course, focusing on the government's emphasis and thrust in the blue economy and the different policies and initiatives to grow that sector for the benefit of all fisher folks. And we'll, of course, look at some of those on today's program. We are hearing more songs being released. I know different artists are visiting the various radio stations or sending via emails their songs. Some are of exceptional quality. I really enjoy the calypso songs I'm hearing so far. And others are leaving much to be desired. I know some persons are complaining about some of the, what we normally term as the soca songs. But I have faith and confidence in our youngsters, that on the day they bring quality. It's strange enough. I am seeing one or two comments from a few individuals stating that we need to bring back, Skilly Fabulous and James P and others to participate in Soca Monarch. I don't know whether that is a response to the quality that we are hearing so far. But the reason why I said it's strange is that just recently, I think it was last year, we heard some persons saying that the mainstream soca artists, Fireman and the like, those are at the top. They term them as old fellas in the industry, and that they need to give way to the youngsters. I remember that very well. I remember that argument. And now you have some of those same persons saying that these very people should come back. I often find it strange, human beings, It is what it is. But I really and truly, um, I believe we'll see more songs as time go by. There are different pageant shows, and of course, the other one as well. And I want to big up Rodney Small. Had a wonderful event, basically, that came off at Victoria Park, and Steel Pan is vibrant. And I think there's more room for growth in that area, of course. I heard some discussions as well talking about crime, and we cannot forget that the government revived PAN. Yeah, a lot of people don't remember this, The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines revive PAN here. And that was part of the initiative with PAN Against Crime, and they had National Commission on Crime Prevention. I hear some people asking, what has the government been doing about crime and these things, But some of us, we even forget that there's something called the NCCP, the National Commission on Crime Prevention, and where we had the PAN being used as one of the initiatives to fight crime, have young people get involved. And we've seen the establishments of different PAN sites across the country. And it's now being very competitive, but competitive in a good way, because despite them being rivals, there's a lot of friendship in the various PAN sites or tents, So kudos to Ronnie Small and all those who were integrally involved in the setting up of that event. That came off well in my view. I was looking to see whether the usual skeptics on a particular program this morning would have had something negative to say about it, but I guess they just couldn't find anything at all. But yeah, and more or less was a quiet weekend as well in terms of criminal activity, and let's hope it remains that way. I see some persons are still doing the pointing of the finger and thinking that the issue of crime can only be fought from one end, but reality it involves all of us, in this fight against crime. But I also must commend the police in clamping down on a type of behavior that I'm seeing. I think the report came out about the particular individual that is charged in molesting a young lady, and we're seeing police clamping down heavy on that, and that is all well and good. And we need families, because most times the people who are involved in these sort of things are who are close to family members, who trust individuals with the youngsters, the young girls. But that too, and I really and truly want to give kudos. And we see an increased police presence in different areas as well, as part of their response and patrols. But like I said, today's program, I want to zero in on basically yesterday's activity, Fisherman's Day, the government's emphasis and focus on growing the blue economy and some different initiatives that is basically ongoing. For those listening, one of the things the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries mentioned yesterday is a digital device, a pilot project, a digital device initiative to be planted or retrofitted on vessels, about 30 vessels thereabout. And this would act as a tracker in tracking those vessels, because sometimes you have issues where fisher folk, they venture out at sea, they run into difficulties, they have issues with communication or communicating with authorities or various persons on land, and it's difficult to track their location if they run into problems, and there are other things. So that is an initiative that the government is going to undertake, and that will be expanded, of course, through the fleet expansion and the like. So I think many persons would welcome that, including the local fisher folk here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In addition to that, of course, the Minister of Agriculture did highlight that we have more persons taking advantage of the partial guarantee agreement the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines has with the KCCU, where, of course, the government did put in some money to assist local fisher folk in accessing loans. The government basically put a 15% deposit. And oftentimes you hear again some persons saying, well, what is the government doing in advancing our productive sector? And the blue economy is part of our productive sector. And it's one area I always encourage persons who have some little extra money to invest, that, trust me, fisheries is a sector that you really need to invest in. It's a growth sector that can provide great returns on your investment. I'm telling you that. And so you have more persons accessing that loan provided, given the government guarantee in terms of 15%. And there are many persons who are taking advantage of this opportunity. Of course, budget 2023, budget for this year, the government is, of course, pledged a $500,000 allocation, which would basically unlock about over $3 million worth of credit for applicants. And the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Agriculture did mention that there are persons who have received approval in terms of those who have the large tuna vessels. And that is good, because what it means, therefore, you're going to have more jobs for persons who have to work on these large vessels, and they have to go through training as well. Because what we know here in St. Vincent and Grenadines is traditional fishing. But where the government would like to see, and that's part of building a modern economy, where the government would like to see fisheries here in St. Vincent and Grenadines is commercial. Not just waking up and go out on the sea till 2 o'clock and then come back in by 11, 12 o'clock thereabout. It's about staying prolonged hours or even days on sea, and not just in sort of shallow waters, but deep waters where you would have more marine life. So part of building that modern economy and modernizing the fisheries sector is looking at commercial fishing. And I remember the NDP, their plan was, I remember it very well, because Ben Exeter at the time did mention it at a meeting in Central. What he said, what they would like to have is the Chinese have their vessels and basically have locals working for them. And maybe over time, Vincentians would receive ownership of those vessels, which is highly unlikely once they have the Chinese involved. But the government is doing it differently. Your government is doing that differently, where we help provide credit by making sure we help in guaranteeing that loan, putting down our own deposit. And local Vincentians work on these vessels. It helps in strengthening the Kingston Cooperative Credit Union, which I am a member of as well. And on the other hand, that you, the local fisher folk, would gain the experience, the benefit in operating these vessels, in working on these vessels, and making a living. So it helps our local economy in general, both from the credit union side of things in terms of the financial sector, and of course in strengthening the blue economy. Instead of what I remember was the NDP's route in having Chinese come with vessels and the like, very different. And I remember the current leader of the opposition actually rubbished our initiative and in the route that we are taking. But like I said, there are many persons who have applied and are benefiting, and they apply under this partial guarantee arrangement, whether for vessels, whether for larger engines, or simply to do some remedial work on those vessels, etc. Mid-sized vessels, pirogues, and the like. So that's on the KCC initiative. And then, as the Minister of Agriculture mentioned, there's also the $4 million solidarity fishing fleet expansion, and the Minister of Finance did say that later on this year we will see that materialize. And this, of course, is also funded through Alba Bank, which will see training being provided to local fisher folk and operators who will basically operate or man these vessels for commercial fishing. So these are two, in my view, two big things that will help to increase the growth potential of the fishery sector. And that is why, like I said, it's an area of tremendous potential for growth and investment on returns on your investment, and those who have a little extra cash as well, or those who have a plan, a business idea in terms of fisheries. Just go into KCC, you talk to them and submit your proposal, what you're looking to do, the type of vessel, projected catchment, projected earnings, and the like. Go into them. So that's part of it. Of course, this ties in to what we've seen, again, in terms of the growth potential. I remember in 2019, thereabout, we've seen a tremendous increase, because that was the year before the pandemic. Of course, pandemic affected a lot of things. But it had a significant increase in fish landings and the value of fish landings in our country by over 56%. Very significant. Like I said, if you look at the numbers, the growth potential in that particular sector. And now, where you have rainforest seafood at Kalakwa, and they purchase seafood from over 150 local fisher folk here in St. Vincent. You hear some people, I see something circulating on social media. You hear some people try to find different ways to criticize the rainforest seafood investment. But like I said, over 150 local fisher folk supply seafood to this company. You hear me? 150. And the government made sure in the agreement that this company don't engage in the catching of seafood. Elsewhere, some governments may not even pay mind to that and say, all right, once you come here, you set up X, Y, and Z. But because this government is about sustainable development and making sure that everyone at least will be able to get part of the pie, we say we have to make sure that you, the local fisher folk, would not be driven out of the market, but actually be more heavily involved in the market and being able to make a living because of this investment. 150 local fisher folk. That is significant. And of course, with 150, local fisher folk supplying, that's millions of dollars into the hands of local fisher folk. Over $14 million thereabout last year because of that. And because of everything is in sync, logical, everything is in sync. Because of that growth potential and what is happening, you have hotel investments, and they too will need seafood. Now, I hear some people, this is what I can't understand with some people. I hear some people say, well, is rainforest might supply to the local hotels. But let's just say, for argument's sake, that, all right, rainforest would supply to, let's say, for example, Sandals or some other hotel that is being established here. What it means to me, or anyone who understands the market, what it means is that even if they are supplying, let's say for argument's sake, they are supplying to other hotels and not the local fisherman directly, it means that there's more demand. And if you have more demand coming from rainforest seafood to supply to even local entities, it means therefore that our local fisher folks who are involved in the catching will have to increase their catchment and therefore will make more money. It's so logical. I don't know. Some people go down a particular line that baffles my mind to say, well, it's not really the local fisherman that will be supplying to the hotels. It might be more or less rainforest seafood, but let's say that for argument's sake, it's the local fisher folk that is involved in the catching, not rainforest. They will supply, even in that case, to rainforest seafood because of the increased demand. It doesn't take away from anything. It doesn't at all. And like I said, because of the growth potential, when you look even at 2019 figures, where from 2017 to then, you had over a 56% improvement in the value of fish landings and over $4.4 million. Shows the significant growth potential in that sector and why the government is investing significant sums of monies in that particular sector in growing the blue economy. Very important. And rainforest food is also a game changer in this regard. Not only because of the physical structure and the investment, the initial investment in the economy, but also because of the money that they themselves are paying out to local fisher folk across St. Vincent and Grenadines, from far north to far south in southern Grenadines. So I do understand why some people go down a particular line. I see something circulating on social media. It baffles my mind sometimes. But let's take this call. Good morning, call. Welcome to Shakeup.
Sir Ferdinand, good morning, man.
Good morning.
And let me say good morning to Teacher Debbie and Kissel and all someone among them. Uncle Sam soon get phone, my brother. Hey, now, man. Talk all things together. You think that it is, well, you know that your elder person who older, you might say that. Since it's coming to existence, who live under, people that live under Joshua and Ketua and all these people, when I joined the government or what, no government ever, I say, do it's kind of thing that they do, that this government do to fishermen. All kind of help pack and all this kind of thing and make you go and get mortgage and thing to buy a new more and bring in more fish and bring in a fish factory that Vincent and could export and put them like better and all this kind of thing. Well, the fisherman are scrambling to catch fish. And he ended to tell you, boy, nothing ain't going on. The government is doing fishing. And why he ended up saying that, surprising us because, he ended up thinking that You don't pay NDP people. It's impossible that America with them. They know that definitely Friday and Lika Kanem can run Sylvan too. Lika Kanem can do good for Sylvan too and better than this government. And he will set high intention at taking government and all this kind of thing. The NDP people them know definitely but still going politician and vote for them. I don't know. None of them could keep up the standard. Well, they don't again that around the Caribbean, that is the best performing government we have besides Guyana and them places there for a government with limited resources and to manage our economy and this kind of thing, and then get to do building and infrastructure and all them kind of thing. The NDP know that the NDP is a bunch of garbage they had it. Garbage mind people they had it. Could never ever start to deal up Sylvan too. But when election come wrong, you find them going to politician and vote for them. And I say they have to go all out to trick them. They're not going all out to trick them. They're just going to vote because of bad mind and voting against themselves. Look at the kind of house and vehicle and all kind of thing they have and the kind of lifestyle they live in. And NDP tell them, well, if the lifestyle, the support and all kind of thing, they tell you, okay, they can't get money to buy food and they can't get money to buy this. We see people now pay $200-300 to go in a party and pay that for drinks and all kind of thing. But NDP come back and every Monday morning, NDP have trip going here, going there. They have a party there and all kind of banquet and all kind of thing for $100. The people don't have money them time there. Because they want to rob people from the little money that they get in. Look at the wages, starvation wages NDP was paying Vincent Chan. No, Vincent Chan getting a work that if you're working for a year, you can buy a vehicle and start a business, a property or something. Buy a property. And the NDP know that, they definitely know that. And still hailing for these people to put them back in poverty with our health and wealth and all kind of thing in canton. So we have a strike on my hand. Look, they're playing back a thing with Prime Minister, say out in the fisherman thing there. When some nonsense man go to descend with the nonsense to talk about who, and the Prime Minister says, you see anything in front of your eye and I believe? Will the Prime Minister not surprised because somebody will come and talk in the public in front of him? Because he put Prime Minister has to put it rightfully, tell it rightfully, we're supposed to tell him. They had a private to praying back. I talk about things.
I listened it on Boom this morning. I know what you're talking about. I also listened to your contribution.
Exactly. I had to call him skin messiah. And they're talking about this and that and say, all the political people and we tell all who inciting violence, I tell them that we later down last week, is all who inciting violence in Sylvan too, because we buy NDP in the party, they don't want to see no peace in Sylvan too. They don't want to see no peace like people Sylvan's a peaceful place and all this kind of thing. They're showing up the violence from all that different directions, from all different angles. So when they talk about violence, if people don't listen to me, I want all to know that all is in good hands and very well that get a good government. And if some of you still want to stay home and make NDP get happy to cut all your happiness, well, I'll go ahead, you know. But I done almost 70 years and I know well for sure that my time ain't going to be no longer suffering underneath them because once them get in office, you can't get them there. You hate kind of bad men and the hatred that they have and the dishonest mind that they have. Them they do all kind of things. Any kind of thing to stay in power, whether they bring in the China or rob election, they do anything to rob election and steal election to stay in power because up to now, you know, they vexed Mitchell because Mitchell give up, you know. So if all in a while they're doing and if fellas are up again, who care one foot about all you? Who care one thing about all you? If they give a piece of galvanite, you'll be a special person and all this kind of thing. So if I don't want to put them in office to destroy Sylvan, so because I'm a destroyer, well, I'm going to tell all to go ahead because I'll be hurting and destroying a lot of people livelihood and all the self.
Right, thank you for your contribution. But it goes to another thing. Job creation. You would hear the opposition and some process. Well, what is the government doing to help create jobs in the country? And this initiative, I mean, you have a credit facility through the credit union, providing that opportunity for you. You have a foreign investor that is purchasing hundred thousands of pounds of seafood in a given year. And of course, you have private sector local establishments that you will sell to. You have consumers like myself and yourself listening. That is providing jobs. Like I said, just last year alone, because of the investment, over 750,000 pounds. You could imagine that 750,000 pounds of seafood alone purchased by Rainforest Seafood, valuing over $14 million to 150 local fisher folk in this country. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of pounds of seafood. And yet I see some people trying to trash the investment. Maybe going in line with what Leacock said in capping, and we shouldn't allow them to invest in all this sort of foolishness. But this is providing opportunities for wealth creation. You know, there's job creation, you know, creating jobs, yes. But there's also wealth creation, and that is why he said from the starting, if you have a little thing, a little savings, a little fiscal room in your pocket, and you're looking for something to invest in, trust me, fisheries is an area of significant growth potential, given what is taking place for you to invest and get returns on your money. I'm telling you. Because that is also part of what is built into what the Unity Labour Party is also focusing on. Wealth creation, not just job creation, no. Wealth creation. How do we create wealth? And that is why we have that credit facility. That is why the government is investing over $4 million now in fish fleet expansion with modern vessels for commercial fishing, not traditional fishing, not waking up to go out at sea 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, after 3, come back to shore, whether 11 o'clock, midday. No. Staying for prolonged hours on even days on the waters, engaging in larger catchment of fish. Bringing a new approach to fishing. More business-like, commercial. That is also in line with building a modern, competitive, post-colonial economy. Well, let us take this call. Good morning, call. Welcome to Shakeup.
Good morning, my brother Ferdinand.
Yes, man. Good
How are
morning.
you?
I good, man.
Happy
I good.
Pentecostal day. Yesterday Sunday and today with Monday. The only day as a talking agriculture. You know, when with Monday come, everybody going to plant something and put the button for rain just fall. And that day, and everybody going out in the yard or in the mountain to cook something because they're preparing for the next harvest. And you're talking agriculture. See, and you right topic this morning. And don't forget, the good Lord tell us, remember somebody was fishing. And the master whole night I set up, I didn't catch any fish. Jesus said to them, cast your net on the other side, launch out in the deep. Because you see on the shore, you can't get the quality of fish you want, you know. We're talking about spiritual and carnal now. If you ever follow me, I'm gonna make you fish out of men. So if the agriculture minister setting up a plan and then for them to follow according to, because you remember he carry a name, you know, Caesar, you know. You understand, my brother? He carry a name Caesar, and he had to do what he can't do something that Caesar did. But he said he portraying that the way the master told him to do, and according to the guidance from the Unity Labour Party, launch out in the deep, spread your light and charge your lifeline. When you tell you must get something, you can't be say holy and you go out and you catch nothing. Throw out in the deep, so now preparing the vessels and things to launch out well in the deep. They call it deep water fishing.
Yes.
Go out and come back and give them ice box and everything to throw them back, because in America, In Trinidad, when you go down fish, you put them on ice and you come back home. That's how the co-workers do.
Yeah.
And also, Mr. Boy, one thing about me, and I keep on saying it, too much mango 40 is dropping in St. Vincent and nobody, and then have no factory to put them. We don't buy too much mango juice in America. Mango juice make it passion food. Mango juice make it Palm City. You understand? So we need to do something about all of for farm agriculture, but the world didn't million one day, but step by step, we are getting there. And God bless St. Vincent and the Grenadines and all the people, and the Prime Minister and his wife, and my dear beloved friend, Julian Francis,
Yes,
and
yes.
so on. So
Thank
you
you,
have a
man.
wonderful day, and yourself take care. God bless and keep
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution. Significant growth potential. Now, the other thing I have to ask, right? Because we've heard over the years, the NDP said that the government isn't doing anything. So I mentioned the $14 million last year pumped into hands of local fishers alone by selling to Rainforest Seafood, 150 fisher folk. And if you, of course, divide that up, you average that is still a significant amount of money. And you have the credit facility at KCCU for persons who want to get involved in the industry, for persons already in the sector and looking to buy whether larger engines, more vessels, larger vessels, and the like. That is available. Despite the NDP said that the government ain't doing nothing with the productive sector. The other question I'll ask now, if the economy, we often hear also from the opposition and some other political pundits state that there is nothing happening in our local economy. Our productive sector is stagnant. Again, we're looking at fisheries, of course, yesterday, Fishermen's Day, we're looking at fisheries. How can you therefore explain to me that in 2012, which is just about 11 years ago, 10 going 11 years, when you only had, in terms of revenue from fisheries in the country, $8.9 million, let's say $9 million, round it off, $9 million pumped into the local economy in fisheries, to now over $21 million. You hear me? To now over $21 million. How do you explain that? If nothing at all is happening in our productive sector, or if the economy, as some would claim, is stagnating or regression, how do you therefore explain that? $9 million in revenue in 2012 to just 10, 11 years after, over 21, going $22 million. How do you explain that? If you say that the economy ain't going away, if you say that there's no growth, if you say that the productive sector ain't going away. Well, let's take this call. Good morning, call. Welcome to Shakeup.
Hey, suppose it just make something I forgot what to say. Better hear me better than now, right?
Yes.
Right. Well, at least NDP learn to their own self, because since 2001, this country take off and never look back. And NDP who couldn't buy a bicycle, have big truck and big apartment rent out now. The house ain't get larger, and who money get banking account get larger. I tell them say no. I just dare wrong them and I don't know. But they deny everything because they just want get powerful, Friday and liquor can them to live like Lord. People them that they fooling. But you know what? I call you back. I want to tell you that ever since 2015, when Vincent and I say, boy, we NDP try to put that in people's head. Well, they didn't have it so long. Time for them to give somebody else a chance. And when I ask the young people, the Labour Party young people and them, what happened? You know they say? A party that telling lies can't win the election too. And that is the confidence I have in young people in Sylvan too. Them who on Labour Party side and who say conscious and have sense and understanding. You know, like the NDP supporters and them that say, well, busy man, you know, but we voting for NDP. Them telling you about the best man to run Sylvan too, but they're still voting for NDP. So you don't know how to judge it. You don't know how to have a conversation with these people, know how. And if you take up a conversation with them, in a few minutes, want to talk about Ralph and Ralph is a good man, they don't get vexed overnight. Overnight. These people have crime in their heart, you know. These people, a man that's angry, so the Bible tells he's a killer, you know. He's a murderer, you know. When people have all this anger and this in their head, and some of them don't know where they're angry for. All they know they hate well. But they hate well for because I'm doing better for them. They get in house, they get in this, they get in that. They never put hear them on the radio calling and say, oh, not them really, but I got a dumb and them saying, oh, people can't eat food, people hungry, people can't go to work, people can't this, people can't that. And meanwhile, them they having all kind of tension, all kind of boat ride every Monday morning. And when they ask them, where people getting money from? They say people sending money them for overseas. Where people buying cars with? They say people sending for overseas for them. So we're dealing with a deceitful set of human beings, people that they don't care about the mother, the father, the sister, nobody. More than they know they live in a pagan life. That's a pagan life they live in. Material and thing. Why take the question also and thing because is the material they live in a material that is standardized government. They talk about supermarket and all kind of thing and people can't buy this and if a little time going and come tomorrow supermarket, you can't say getting in the supermarket and get to stand up inside it who don't have no faith because everybody buying. So NDP know all this, but yet I don't know what they're looking for. They're looking for blood. They're looking they're looking to make sure intention suffer. And all them things can't buy food, can't buy this, can't buy that, can't send the children to school, and all this kind of thing. No airport, no hotel, no this, no that. They want to make sure intention fall along underneath this kind of evilness and all this kind of thing because what they know I see no good thing for you at all. No good thing. The country going to good. I got the country going to you and good for your neighbor, but them. So therefore, all grieving because they want all the country well for themselves. Have a good day.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And not only that, you know, one of the things I didn't mention is that at the very facility, I mentioned, of course, 150 local fisher folk, but at the very facility, I have just over about 100 jobs directly inside of there where people are cleaning, people are packaging, labeling seafood for export at that facility. Again, creating jobs, creating opportunities. But at the same time, you'll hear some of the very political pundits say, what is the government doing to create jobs in the country? What is the government doing to facilitate investments in the country? And then the very same political pundits, including the opposition, that will say that, will then turn around like Sinclair Leacock, as we've heard many times, say that we need to cap these investments, which includes capping the very jobs that they are creating. But like I said, there's significant growth potential in fisheries and other areas too, but in particular in fisheries. And like I said, if you say that the economy is not stagnating on the government, if you say that there's no growth in the productive sector, if you say that the government isn't focusing on creating jobs and opportunities, then therefore what explains that significant growth from simply generating revenue in 2012, just $9 million from fisheries to over $22 million currently? What explains that? And again, to call and interact with us, you call in number 457-9997. That's 457-9997. And WhatsApp us or call us on WhatsApp number 457-9994. Good morning, call. Welcome to Shakeup.
Hey, Comrade 40.
Hey, greetings, man. Greetings.
How you doing, my brother?
I
Blessings,
enjoy your photos of the. I think it's Sunday you took those out.
Of the port.
The port, the
Yes, I
sunny
try to
area.
do an update weekly so people can follow it and see the progress that is being made.
Yeah, man. Thanks,
But
man.
that is exactly why I'm calling you, you know. I like I say, I'm following the development of the port and trying to update people on it and stuff. And it's a remarkable job that is being done. An enormous amount of work has been done over a short period of time.
Yes, I think it's now over 90-something% complete, thereabout.
About 90%, yes, headed into that. Now, I heard Sion on the radio sometime last week, before he took a little break, was mentioning something that the environmentalists would have said. I'm speaking about Mr. Wilson, Andrew Wilson, I think his name is. And I'm not quoting here because I didn't write it down, but the gist of the statement that was made, I believe what he meant is that he was under the impression that they were going to dredge the sand at Argyle and dump it at Stubbs Bay and truck it in from Stubbs Bay to Kingston to do the reclamation. Now, I'm asking myself, how could an environmentalist come to a decision like that? Or thinking that something like that is feasible? The people who build in the port, they are dredging 1.7 million cubic meters of sand to reclaim 16 acres of land in Kingston to construct the port. Now, one ton of sand equals to 1.33 cubic meters. So a 10-ton truck would carry 13.3 cubic meters of sand. Yes. A 10-ton truck, right? Now, if you want to move 1 million cubic meters of sand in 10-ton trucks, it would take you 75,187 trips on the road. This is an environmentalist. This is what he is proposing. 75,187 trips by truck from Stubbs to Kingston. Now, we don't have a lot of 10-ton trucks in St. Vincent to carry sand from Stubbs to Kingston. Some would be 6 ton, some would be 5 ton, maybe some a little more than 10. Now, if you're moving 75,187 trips at 20 trips a day, it would take you 3,759 days. And basically that works out to like 10 years. Just to move the sand alone. Now, when you think about moving 1 million cubic meters of sand from Argyle to Kingston, from in the morning, you're starting at 7, you're going to encounter traffic. I am wondering if this gentleman is proposing to have police outriders to get these trucks through the traffic. And apart from all of that and stuff, 3,759 days of 75,187 trips is going to cause a lot of degradation to the roads of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And he's an environmentalist. So I am looking at what is being done there, and I heard Linsky saying what they're doing there, it would take them at least 7 weeks to move all of that sand from Argyle to Kingston. So I am thinking in my mind now, I wonder if Andrew Wilson would have thought about this, the amount of sand to be moved that they're dredging, and the way they are moving it, and the way he is proposing to move it, because the way he is proposing to move 1 million cubic meters of sand is over 10 years just to move the sand. I don't know if anybody in St. Vincent can tolerate that. I remember when they were constructing the Wynwood Highway from Fancy come down, people used to complain that it's taking almost a year. Here we talk about 10 years. And it boggles the mind when these people open their mouth and speak, just like if we can't sit down and work this thing out, because he probably don't even feel that anybody know how much cubic meters
With
of
the
sand in a
conversion.
ton. Yes, is 1.33 cubic meters per ton. So a 10-ton truck would carry 13 cubic meters of sand. And it would take 10 years to fill up the port that they're doing. They almost completely full. They're at 85-90% right now. And that is really, really, really amazing to me, the stupidity of these people and the foolishness that they give to people, and people just suck it in because nobody taking the time to work it out themselves. Now, yesterday I was at the Fisherman's Day celebrations, the competition at Calico. And I went there early because normally I like to buy some fish and support the cause and all of that and stuff. So I went out there about, say, 1:30, 2 o'clock. And I got some fish. So I was standing at a vending stall. And the gentleman told me he was selling his fish at $12 a pound. So I say I'm a little bit amazed because last year I came to the function and I bought fish at $12, $10 a pound. And I'm still buying fish at $10 a pound sometimes in the market in Kingston. So what is the $12 all about? You know what his response was? Ralph raised the price of gas on them. And apart from that, he sent the dredge out Argyle and break up all the coral and move all the rock. So no fish in the out anymore. And I said to the guy, I say, you want to repeat that for me? And he said, he's a fisherman, he know. Ralph sent the dredge out Argyle, mash up all the coral, break up all the rock and all of that and stuff. And these are people who are listening and following people blindly and saying and repeating what they hearing these people say. Because I was down at the reclamation day. I have permission sometimes to go on the site and stuff and stuff from the contractors and stuff. And I walked through that thing and there is not a blade of grass and not a pebble in the sand. It is almost as clean as flour. So I am wondering, and I said to the gentleman, I say, sometimes maybe you, I did ask him, I say, you normally would go to Stubbs Bay off Argyle and fishing and Fisherman's Day? He said, no. He said, no. So I said, well, how do you know they have fish there and the fish move? He said, well, he's a fisherman, he's supposed to know. And well, I just kind of laughed and I didn't want to entertain that and justify that with a response or, elevate a conversation with that. So I just move off from him. But I mean, these people, if they are against the government and they're listening to people who are against the government, they would speak and spew the foolishness that you're hearing from these people who are perceived to be intelligent. Because Andrew Wilson don't go on and say they should have dredged the thing and put the sand out there and then bring it in town.
Is Andrew Simmons actually?
Simmons,
Yeah,
Simmons, not Wilson, Simmons. Yes. Sorry about that. Simmons, my mistake. I wonder where I get the Simmons thing in my mind. Simmons, right?
Yeah, Simmons,
yeah. So I don't know when these people speak and other people listen to them, they are only listening to these people and they are regurgitating what they hear from these people. But it really don't make any sense to normal Vincentian people at all, because anybody who listens to what I'm saying here today and the figures, they can go and walk it out themselves.
Lancer, the piece in the newspapers gone what Nature said? That it's an environmental disaster.
I understand he said it at the rally. It's an environment plan, so that should be stopped immediately.
Yes.
Barring consultation and all of that and stuff. I don't know if Nature is aware that half of Kingston outside of the port, outside of the Bay Street itself, is reclaimed land. I am not sure Nature is aware of that. Because where the complexes bill is reclaimed land, where the fish market is reclaimed land, where you go down, you meet, input warehouse is reclaimed land, all them. So I don't, it's just an extension of what has already been done under another government. So when Nature them come and talk after Simmons and them, them kind of guys and stuff and thing, and so they don't have a clue what they are saying, because there is absolutely nothing to justify what Andrew would have said on a talk show on the radio one morning about breaking up coral and moving fish habitation and this and that and stuff and so. But people would have heard him and they are repeating what he said, but there is absolutely no truth to justify anything that was said there. And people should just like rubbish the gentleman about moving sandwich truck Because, like I say, it would have taken 10 years to reach where they reached it now. And all of this could be done in the space of like 2 months. Thank you, Mr. Ferdinand. I appreciate you having me on the radio this morning.
Yeah, man, no problem at all. Thanks for your contribution. So we'll take a break now and then resume with Shakeup Radio program.
The flavor nice, it's locally made. Affordable price, Lord, up to $3 retail. When you see me lining, when you got a white case, show me what you lighting. It's cigarette from Empire, Holdings Limited. It's cigarette from Empire, Holdings Limited. With over 60 years experience, hold the best tobacco, best ingredients. Yeah. This is your boy Lou to say, support local, buy your cigarettes from Empire Holdings Limited. 10 cigarettes in a pack for up to $3 retail. Remember, smoking is not for minors.
WEFM 99.9, home of quality programming. A source of reliable news and information. Home of legendary voices and music. WEFM 99.9, the clean first sound. Visit us online at www.999wefm.com or call 457-9994. WEFM 99.9, the clean first sound.
Out with the old, in with the new. In the past, you complained when we failed. We listened and went back to the drawing board. At last, a new, fresh beginning. A fresh face, a new product. International Standard Metals A792 presents Galvaloon, an aluminum roofing metal, branded best used for roofing material, tested and proven to be of superior quality. Get wider coverage for the best prices on the island. We offer a variety of colors, including zinc sheets. Also, take advantage of our unique roofing patterns, U-panel, industrial, and crimp Spanish style. Visit us at the Diamond Industrial Estate. Call us at 784-456-9900 or email bmlsvg@gmail.com. Galvaloon, a product of International Standard Metals. That could have been you. An accident that could have been avoided because your tires had almost no grip on the road. Safety is a factor that should never be overlooked when it comes to your car or whatever you drive. SVG Tire Sales and Services in Balls Avenue and in Arnisvale carries a wide selection of quality new tires to fit any car, truck, minibus, or SUV, so you can experience a comfortable and safe commute every time. We are agents for the world's most reliable brands on and off the road, including Kenda Tires, the king of the mountain, Cooper Tires, king of the road and track, Ostone, the king of the outback, and High Fly, the king of the Asian highway. We also carry new tires for light or heavy-duty trucks from MRF, High Fly, and Linglong. A reliable set of new tires keep you, your passengers, and your payload always in the safe lane. So when you need quality tires with reliability at 100%, choose SVG Tire Sales and Services in Kingstown, 457-1467, or in Arnisvale, 456-6444. SVG Tire Sales and Services. Performance and reliability proven when the rubber meets the road.
Hey Google, play me some big people soca.
Okay, playing some touch music.
Touch is back on the road for another Monday T-shirt band with the band Kinetic. 2 live bands with some of Vinci's best soca music. Somebody's watching you. Packages go on sale soon. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Band Touch. And stay tuned for more updates. And one more thing for the record. Man can't take what? Man can't take what? Brought to you by Standard Shippers, Carib, White Oak, Tusty Water, and WEFM.
99.9, the heart and soul of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. WEFM is SVG.
So yes, we are back in the studio of WEFM. I am your host, Augustine Ferdinand. Remember the numbers to Call and interact with us at 784-457-9997. That's 784-457-9997. And you can call or send us messages on the WhatsApp number 784-457-9994. That's 784-457-9994. So, like I said, when you hear some people say that nothing is happening in the economy, nothing is happening with our productive sectors. Our productive sectors, they say stagnant. What explains that? $8.9 million, $9 million in revenue from fisheries in 2012 to over 21, close in $22 million. That is over 120 plus percent, over 120, 25%. What explains that? If you say that nothing is happening in the productive sector, or nothing is happening in the economy, or no jobs, because this clearly shows that there's jobs that is being created in fisheries. It shows that there's more revenue. It shows that there's increase in fish landings. And given, and I mean, Lance calling and talk about the port, all that is part of the reason why we are building a modern port. Because we also hear the argument, ladies and gentlemen, that why are you building? You know, I hear it. They say, why are you building a modern port if you're not producing more? I'm quite sure you've heard that. Quite sure you've heard that. But I show you here in fisheries alone that there's increased landings. There's increased revenue. But you hear some people say, well, why are you building a modern port if you're not producing more? Well, clearly, based on the evidence, we are producing more. Well, let us take this other call. Good morning, call. Welcome to Shakeup.
Yes, let me just tell the Prime Minister to tell this person he's not God. And they must worship him when he comes. He was made by Almighty God himself through his son Jesus Christ, and he's not God. Bring Joseph to Full Creek, Chris away name, the Prime Minister is not God. Every Monday morning they get up, and if you get more Daisy, it's just the Prime Minister all the praising of all the talking about. Mr. Prime Minister, this fella tell this fella you're not God. You're not the holy praise. That other praise. Them don't say the praise and they come. All the sudden is you. Rap that here we do. And meanwhile, all the talking praise of the Prime Minister.
Well,
in all the negative
my friend, what it simply shows is that, well, one, you normally know the saying that you don't spoil mango or floxy mango.
Exactly.
So that is one. Two, shows that clearly the Prime Minister is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm a very person who know me as a very calm person. When people behave like that, I say, all right, it means that they see the Prime Minister as what we're talking about, and of course he's treasured and very valuable. So by all means, continue.
And to back that up, I hate them pushing for the Prime Minister. Look at the whole wall of pushing the Prime Minister doing, and we saying, and how you run in the country. And we Labour Party people. And the other side of people, they don't say to praising, show and praise. If they get up in the morning, Israel. If they get up in the Israel, I have the Prime Minister tell you that every day, rap. All the time praise the Prime Minister, Dave Robert and Colin Graham and both ones, Margaret London. All have a God to praise and to carry all the sin too. Why do you want to see? Why do you want to carry all the sins and what all the angriness and all the deceitfulness and a man like all yourself? You know, hear the same is a murderer and all the hating this man and praising him. So every day, not one other day, he had no different topic. He had no different topic to cool Chris. What going to all of mine? What this man do all there? Because you could show a party and charge $200-300 and sell a bottle of song and put $300. You figure that is too much a good thing for you to do. And if you can sell a bottle of song and put $5 because nobody ain't go buy it, is it not high money? Why are you praising up the Prime Minister, so brother? The Prime Minister is not God. And if you hate him, the whole world, 90-something% I all that praising this man, I love what this man doing. And them who might be a little fall short, they know what definitely this man is a good man. So therefore, all of them hate him, but praising him in a way, in a big way. I'm going down in the book of life because God goes about when me say, yeah, them fellas and them, they supposed to praise me. Here with it, running out.
All right, man.
Okay, my brother.
Okay, then, bless up. Yes. And as the Prime Minister mentioned yesterday, that between January to March this year, we've had over 760,000 pounds of fish landed in St. Vincent with a market value of $6 million just between January, February, March, 3 months. Yeah. Like I said, the growth potential is there, but let's take this other call. Good. All right.
Good morning, my brother Ferdinand.
Yes, good morning.
To show the society is them people, eh? The poor that we building there. What we have bright youth, they get their transshipment point. It's two countries, it's 2 continents, close to Africa, Europe and South America. So we setting up a thing, for all them bright youth, one of the 2 of them, 3 of them, I say, let me make a transit thing here from Canada and North America. Down there, both from Brazil, both from South America will come pick it up, take up and then roll down so and go cross Brazil, straight in either Ghana or Mali. They think that the European Labour Party, they think about the people today, you know, they always think about the generation that coming on the future. The party, that's why we have to come in town and sit down on them, you know. Because all the people that are just check for now and take with tax money and speak and mind themselves and things. But when they're talking about serious people to develop a country, the government can't think about just for today. They think about the generation that come in under the big advantage. That when they have government like Keto, government like Kumba and them kind of thing, who thinking about the future. And one of the greatest things, too much of people they vote. You see them country people, them see when they tell them do Keto, when the man setting up the country to go out, then I come and beat them down. So difficult, the only people could beat labor, you know, is labor themselves. And there are some civil servants to believe that some people, because they support the government, pressure them and spike them, frustrate them to they will turn against the government. But that can't happen to certain people. Because we know, long as the country develop, government they have to study all set of people. We breaking up and to do things. So them people who short sighted, them can't see the benefit of the international airport, them can't see the benefit of a port, a big container port to deal with big trading. Bring things from South America, bring things from North America, both will come from South America, pick it up and go across Africa. You remember me saying that? I just saying the same. Okay, my brother.
All right, man. Thank you very much for your contribution. Yes. Growth that is taking place and the potential it has. And that is why the government is investing more monies into fisheries, including the $4.4 million towards the fish fleet expansion, which the NDP, the opposition, I remember very well, at a meeting in Rose Place, criticized and rubbished. Yeah? But that is creating more jobs and wealth opportunities for the average man and woman in this country. But as I was saying, they ask why you build a modern port, and they say they see no sign of any increased production or anything anywhere. And that is far from the truth. To the Ministry of Agriculture, you have heavy focus on increasing production. And that is why through the different support systems, whether irrigation, whether subsidized fertilizers, whether through the tractor services, that you have increased production. And we see it in root crops, in vegetables. Some are selling, of course, to Trinidad. Some are selling to Reno Industries. Some are selling to local hotels. And we heard on Sunday, I didn't even mention about the program, but Sunday we heard those from Tourism Authority and representative from Hotel Association and the like, speaking about fruits and vegetables being sold to hoteliers by locals, and they enjoy the quality. So we have ramping up. You know, we are taking the economy. That is significant. Increasing our capacity to hold more goods for export. That's very important, and that too create more jobs for people in this country and wealth opportunities. But before I go, I see a message came in here to shout up members of Symphonic Steel Orchestra and arranger Jamara Francis and Bomani. It was excellent. It was excellent. So whether we continue the discussion tomorrow, of course, more in depth, in modernization of our economy, building a post-colonial competitive economy. And until we see tomorrow, we do have a safe and blessed afternoon. Thank you.
The flavor nice, it's locally made. Affordable price, Lord, up to $3 retail. When you see we line it, when you got a white case, show me what you like it. It's cigarette from Empire, Holdings Limited. It's cigarette from Empire, Holdings Limited. With over 60 years experience, hold the best tobacco, best ingredients. This is your boy Luther say, support local.